Oh yeah, look at that. There's a big trunk over here. There we go. Could be 3 metres across, and that's never been found. That's the Holy Grail. But I think if Jesus will be famous. I'm Kevin, Auckland science teacher. I'm Philip, and I live in Hokitika. Well, pretty much every day we have a chat, sometimes more than once. Bring your binoculars, Kevin. But the one behind I think might be a matai, so can you just... I reckon that's a kahikatea. This is old growth forest. This stuff was here before humans came to New Zealand. These trees are well over 1,000 years old, some of the biggest. It's so special to see them, and there's just such a majesty to them. Very large kahikatea. Actually, it's got a bit of a buttress base. You also get a lot of exposed roots. Look at this. The roots actually grow quite actively outside above the ground. You can see this here, and quite a distance from the tree. Yeah, there are 3 ways of measuring these trees. One way is the girth. We've got a girth of around 730. The other way is the height to the very top. Appears to be around 35 to 40 metres tall. The third way is how spread is the crown. The crown is the big top upper branches, the width of the tree. I'm going to stand at the extremities of the crown, and I'm going to laser fill and measure the distance between where I'm standing and where he's standing. I'm standing at the edge of the tree now, Kevin. 16.8 metres. That's what makes a champion tree. Combination of those 3 things. When we were kids, we'd go to parks for picnics and things, and we'd come back with cones. We actually had a little, like a greenhouse that we made ourselves, put the cones in little pots, and bingo, up they'd come. And then we'd plant them somewhere strategically, and to drive our mother mad. We went up to Pelorus Bridge as teenagers and really enjoyed the bushwalks there and seeing some of the big pouākais that were around. Later on, we realised that a lot of the trees on the west coast, no one had really taken the effort to look and see, you know, what was left over here. And we found, for example, that the largest matais in New Zealand, easily the largest, are here on the coast. Massive trunk. There's just no doubt at all there would have been moa browsing and probably giant eagles up in this crown.
The pouākai?
Yeah, the pouākai. See how the roots have been exposed? That gives you an indication of the extreme age of this tree. It's taken maybe 1,500 years for that to wear down. Yeah, this was the New Zealand champion for a while. It's now the 2nd largest. I told Kevin where it was, he went and looked for it, and he stumbled across an even larger tree. Yeah, I took a couple of friends in here, and I went a wee bit too far down the road and come in on a different angle, and I thought I found Phil's tree, because I hadn't seen Phil's tree, and there was another big fella, and when I wrapped the tape measure around it, I realised it wasn't Phil's tree, it was an even bigger guy. This is the largest matai that's ever been measured in New Zealand. I reckon it's 2,000 years old itself, so it would have been a sapling around the time of Christ. Gnarly, beastly old thing. This does have the look about it, it's going to fall soon. There's quite a bit of rot around the base. Just the weight. You can see there's been a crack here in the wood. I certainly don't recall seeing that. That looks like it's a fresh crack. We may have got it just before it falls.
Would you guys consider yourself greenies?
I'm more of a lefty, mate. I'm a school teacher. And I'm possibly slightly right of centre, but I definitely have very strong conservation values.
So you don't have to be a lefty to be a greenie, or do you?
No, not at all. I think of the Green Party nowadays as more of a watermelon party, green on the outside and red on the inside. So I'd prefer to see...
That's a bit rough.
There you go. Phil and I were adopted at birth in 1966. Our birth mother had us when she was young. We're pretty lucky though, Phil. We had a pretty good parents, and pretty good upbringing. Great brothers and sisters. We were told when we were children, you know, as early as we can understand. You don't probably realise it till you get a bit older, into your late teenage years, but you're wanting to know something, and you don't always know what that something is.
Do you reckon there's any tree huggers in your birth parents?
No, I don't know really of any sciencey people in my birth family. We're encouraged to do well at school and stuff was all really from mum and dad.
Your dad had a lot to do with pushing us with education, and he liked to push us with hobbies and things as well. He was a good dad.
I went off to university, studied physics at Canterbury. Phil went and joined the police.
I started off at university, and after 8 weeks I pulled the pin. It wasn't for me, and I decided to become a policeman. I spent about 30 years as a policeman. Now I'm a capitalist, an entrepreneur.
Are you guys, do you connect much?
Yeah, every day we have a couple of yarns normally. It's interesting because if I've done something, I always seem to have to let him know about it. And the same is true for Kevin.
Yep, definitely true.
This is Lindsay. He's a very well-known Harry identity.
Phil was at an article in the paper about big rimus. I got him to come down here because I said we've got some big ones down here too. So.
Did Phil believe you?
I don't think he did. I don't think he did till he actually measured it.
I knew straight away looking at it, it was going to be the biggest rimu that I've ever measured, and quite probably the largest known, and that turned out to be the case. Since then, a larger, slightly larger, tree has been discovered in the North Island by Kevin, and that tree is just slightly larger.
How do you reckon this one's still here though? Why didn't it get taken?
These were just too big for them to handle, and
You wouldn't have got it out.
Any idea of the age?
I would say it would have to be probably 11 to 1300. It's clearly in a position where it's, it's probably not quite tall enough to blow over like some of the lesser trees, and it's got more mass at the base. Obviously the root structure's still sound. Being here, I think it's here for the long term. So this is the second largest
Kahikatea in New Zealand.
Yeah.
They're known as one of the tallest New Zealand trees. Literally in Maori, I believe it means basket of fruit. The female trees have a lot of fruit on them.
I'd say be close to 800-900 years old, this tree. You can tell the way the crown's really opened up that it's very, very old.
I'd say 500 plus years.
So you disagree?
It's got to be more than that, Kevin. It's got to be more than 500, mate.
Look, we can't say for real that these are the biggest trees in New Zealand, but I think it's great to highlight that we've got these magnificent pouākai trees, and there they are in plain sight.
That's it there, that's it. I can tell by the trunk. Whoa. Oh, she's a big girl. That's actually grown a bit in the last couple of years, that thing. But she's big, isn't she? Look at the roots on it.
New Zealand's got about 8 million hectares of native bush, and it's a real treasure. It's good for us to go and be in there and the vibes that you feel from it. And it's great to be able to recognise the trees, the birds, and all the animals and plants.
I'm looking forward to looking again and keep hunting, and I've got plenty of plans. So hopefully we'll find some more special trees in the next couple of years.
Aha, here we are, civilization. Oh, and the car's just down there. I'm just going to see if I can see the head of that big tree.
God for that.